Imagine a world where the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs missed the Earth, or where somehow this cataclysmic event never happened. What if dinosaurs still roamed the planet today? If you've ever wondered what a world with living brontosauruses might look like, this episode is for you. Dinosaurs were extremely successful as a group. They dominated the land during the Mesozoic era and showed every sign of continuing their reign of supremacy through the Cenozoic. So let's explore what may have happened if they hadn't gone extinct at the end of the Cretaceous. Okay, first off, let's address the big one. Of course, dinosaurs would still be here if they never went extinct. But what does that actually mean for them as a whole? To answer that question, we need to talk about what would happen to them as a group as time went on. The first thing to keep in mind is that just because dinosaurs were doing great at the end of the Anti-Cretaceous didn't mean that every single kind of dinosaur was doing equally great everywhere. Even at that time, there were lots of lineages that were declining or going extinct due to environmental pressures. As a result, some groups that were around at the end of the Cretaceous might have continued their reign of terror into the Cenozoic and beyond, or perhaps new dominant forms would have arisen. Take tyrannosaurs, for instance. By the end of the Cretaceous, they had feathered theropods like Tyrannosaurus rex in North America and Aspeltosaurus in Western North America, Albertosaurus in Western North America, and Gorgosaurus in Western North America. Abelisaurs, ceratopsians, hadrosaurs, and ankylosaurids also dominated various parts of the world at the end of the Cretaceous. Would any of these or other groups have continued their rise to power or given way to new dominant forms in the Cenozoic? We can't know for sure, but we can speculate based on what we know about their adaptations in ecology. Second, dinosaurs had already shown incredible adaptation to a wide range of environments. From near the poles to hot deserts and lush forests, they would have faced the new climatic challenges of the Cenozoic, likely with some groups adapting and others dwindling. Some dinosaurs, like hadrosaurs with their sophisticated chewing batteries, would have adapted well to the spread of grasslands, a major new habitat that characterized the Cenozoic. And yet others, maybe not so much. But wait, there's another crucial consideration. There was no empty niche for mammals to exploit in the world that never ended. At the end of the Cretaceous, the extinction event wiped out all non-avian dinosaurs. Birds, their direct descendants, pterosaurs and large marine reptiles, as well as many mammals. It also wiped out many plants. This opened up vast ecological niches that surviving mammals and other groups rapidly diversified into. Think about it. The extinction event at the end of the Cretaceous allowed mammals to radiate into a bunch of new habitats and roles. The classic example of this is the ecological vacancy that allowed whales to become the largest mammals on the planet and diversify into baleen whales and toothed whales. Hadrosaurs occupied a similar niche to early whales, large grazing animals. So if they never went extinct, whales might not have become as big as they did because they would have been competing with them instead of replacing them. Without this, mammals would have continued to fill smaller roles, like the shrews, rodents, or small possums of today. Now let's talk about us. Our own lineage, Homo sapiens, evolved as a consequence of mammals filling the niches left vacant by the dinosaurs. Without this opportunity, it is highly improbable that a lineage leading to Homo sapiens would have ever emerged. So in a world where dinosaurs never went extinct, there would be no humans. Paleontologist Stephen Jay Gould often emphasized that evolution is not a directed process towards complexity or human-like intelligence. It's a contingent process. Remove a key event, like the dinosaur extinction, and the entire subsequent history of life changes dramatically. And speaking of humans, it's very possible that a smart and inventive lineage of dinosaurs could have hit the same evolutionary trajectory that we did, but there's a huge catch. After 150 million years of evolution, they would have been very, very different from us. Let's use the trudentid as an example. Trudonts were small, agile theropods with a relatively large brain-to-body size ratio, binocular vision, and grasping hands, which would have been useful for manipulating tools. One of the best-known members of this family is Stenonychosaurus, which means ear-biting lizard. A few years ago, scientists even estimated the neuron density in the brain of a trudentid compared to modern birds. Only 3 extant bird species had higher neuron counts. And compared to most other animals, only a few primates, including bush babies and humans, had higher neuron densities. With all these traits, troodontids have been popular subjects of speculation regarding their intelligence and behavior. In 1982, paleontologist Dale Russell proposed a famous thought experiment where he imagined what might happen if a troodontid like Stynonocosaurus had survived the KPG event and continued to evolve. He speculated that this dinosaur, which he dubbed the Dinosauroid, might have evolved into a human-like intelligent being. However, it's important to remember that Russell's Dinosauroid is mostly a product of science fiction and imagination. It's not rigorous scientific analysis. And while some theropods did possess higher neuron densities comparable to modern primates, most paleontologists are skeptical that a troodontid would have evolved into a human-like form. If advanced intelligence were to arise in a dinosaur lineage, it would likely manifest in a form and with behaviors suited to a dinosaurian body plan and evolutionary history. They would likely manipulate objects with their snouts and feet, rather than developing human-like hands for tool use in the same way. Furthermore, the idea of a humanoid dinosaur often relies on the assumption that intelligence would automatically lead to upright walking and bipedalism, which isn't necessarily the case. Many highly intelligent animals like octopi and cuttlefish are not bipedal. Also, evolution doesn't simply build on what came before. If a troodontid had survived, it would have been subject to the same evolutionary pressures as any other animal. So its descendants might look very different from what we imagine as the quintessential intelligent dinosaur. So in a world where dinosaurs never went extinct, mammals would be minor players. In the wide array of species we see today, such as elephants, whales, giraffes, and large carnivores, would likely not exist. Ecosystems would also be fundamentally different. Large herds of herbivorous dinosaurs would continue to shape plant communities, and the coevolution between plants and their dinosaur herbivores would have continued, influencing plant defenses and dispersal strategies. In terms of plant life, flowering plants were already becoming dominant by the late Cretaceous, and their evolution would have continued, but perhaps along different pathways, influenced by different types of herbivore pressure. The spread of grasslands in the Cenozoic would have posed a new challenge and opportunity for herbivorous dinosaurs. In short, a world where dinosaurs never faced the KPG mass extinction would be an age of dinosaurs continuing into the present. They would have evolved, diversified, and adapted to changing environments, just as they did during the Mesozoic. But the key difference is that they wouldn't have faced the extinction event that gave rise to the modern world. So what do you think? Do you think that dinosaurs would have fared well in the Cenozoic? Or were they too dependent on the environment of the Cretaceous? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Before we go, we want to thank you for being a part of our community. Your support allows us to make these videos and share our passion for ancient worlds. If you're not already subscribed, please do so and stay up to date on all of our latest content. Until next time, keep exploring the prehistoric world and all of its wonders.